Mm, mm, mm. All right. Welcome back, guys, to GPH, where we dive deep into faith, purpose, and today's special topic is discipline. I'm accompanied today with a first-time guest. It took forever to get my man's over here, but we're gonna talk about how disciplined he is and what truth he can share to you guys. Right? He comes straight from a workout right now, literally. Right? And today's guest is someone who's been putting in work on and off the court. He's played basketball internationally, known for repping where he's from with pride. But what separates him isn't just the stats, it's his lifestyle, right? 5 a.m. gym sessions, a vegan diet, building his own company focused on recovery and health. And most importantly, I've been seeing him learn more, lean more into the Word of God. And that's something that I want to talk about too today, right? Um, but for the world, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Ruben Acosta. Currently living in Bogota, New Jersey, Waterbury, Connecticut, native, and Puerto Rico, Guayama, Salina.
Okay. And obviously, bro, a lot of people know you from playing ball. When did that start? When did that passion arise? Like, when was the first time you touched the ball? If you remember that moment.
So from word from my family is before I could even remember. When I was a little kid, they said I used to have this little basketball, and if anyone ever took it away from me, I'd get mad. So I mean, for as long as I can remember, I've always played. I didn't come into playing serious basketball until I was like in sixth, seventh grade, but always, kind of had that street ball vibe to it. Always watched street ball basketball, so it was always something I love to do.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah.
You was part of that N1 era
Yeah,
with
yeah,
me,
you
bro.
already hot sauce all day.
Facts. And would you say like basketball is more than just a sport to you? Like,
For sure. And the longer I've been in it, the deeper dive and the more significance it's had in my life. Like I didn't realize that basketball was created to get people closer to God. That's something I just discovered recently. Um, but yeah, it's like it's made lifelong friends for me, connections that I can't even imagine. Like just work ethic alone has landed me in certain rooms and job opportunities in the past that I'm forever grateful for.
yeah, that's fire, bro. And I got to see that you've played like in Mexico.
Yeah, yeah. We had an exhibition, some exhibition games in Mexico. For the team in Juarez. I can't remember their name, but it's in the LMBP, something like that, or the LBE. It's in the LBE. So we had an opportunity to go out there and play against that team, um, with the program I was involved with in Texas called CYM, Creating Young Minds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what has playing internationally taught you as a man, not just as an athlete?
I mean, as a man, it's taught me how to be appreciative above all else. Like, I feel like in the United States, we take a lot of things for granted. When I was in Mexico, they looked at us like superstars. Like, I've never had someone come and ask me for my autograph like that. Like, kids, there was, I don't even remember how many people, like 5,000 people in that gym. And the kids were just so ecstatic to
Wow.
come, you know, get an autograph from me, and that was like eye opening.
Yeah. I mean, but you seem like a pretty humble person still. Like,
For sure.
um, I know for some people that they'll let that get to their head, especially like in the era that we living in now. Um, but you seem like you carry it pretty well, man. And what I've seen that I really like about you is like you always give people their flowers. I see that you're always promoting like next coming up people from Jersey. I mean, you coach too, right? So you know what's going on. You're in different tournaments. You're in different areas. Tell us a little bit about like what drove you to coach. What drove you into that?
Um,
That's why you was ducking me too.
nah,
Yo, your team, whoever your team is, he loves y'all.
I had to focus on them for a while, but
Yeah.
yeah, nah, I knew I was coming down to like my ending days of like playing. Like, I've always been chasing, and I never made it to the highest level that I really wanted to. Yeah, I touched overseas a little bit, but not to the highest level that I wanted to. So in the process of chasing, I think I kind of got to a part in my life where I was like, all right, I want to kind of like give back now. And I was on the phone one day with one of my mentors, Taquan Zimmerman, Tootie, aka Tootie. He played in the G League, played at LIU Brooklyn, played in Canada. And I was on the phone with him, and he was like, bro, like, whenever you're ready, like, I would love to have you on staff. Come down here, help me out with our prep school. And I just saw it as an opportunity for me to transcend into something different where I didn't completely have to leave basketball alone, but I could kind of help other people out. So,
Yeah. What type of coaching style do you have, bro?
honestly,
You
it's got to
strict on them
change.
or
It's
like
got
you
to
be
change.
chilling?
I'm strict. I'm very strict. Any of my players will tell you like I'm hard nosed, no excuses. Let's get to it. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. But as I'm getting closer to God and stuff, I do think I need to change my approach a little bit because it's definitely aggressive.
In what sense? Like, what do you think?
I think my language, the language is changing a lot. Like I'm really trying to not curse no more, and
That's fire,
you
bro.
know, I hold
Shout out God's world.
for sure. I hold a lot of my friends accountable, just like I always accept that. Like if you ever hear me cursing, please tell me to stop cursing because I don't want to.
I mean, that's great, bro. I mean, I have J Andy over here. He's changed in that aspect where like he doesn't curse. Bro, I saw him curse one time. He was I never seen him that mad. And he's like, God, it's because I'm mad. But other than that, he holds me accountable. And I think as we grow older now, we see that those people that are around us, if they're not pouring into our cup and we're pouring into theirs, like, what are we really doing?
For sure.
Like, we was growing up, we want to be friends with everybody, want to be part of every group. But now that we're older, it's like, you need those people that hold you accountable more than anything. And through our mutual friend, through Jesse, like, I always hear great things about you, bro. You feel me? So I know you're a good person to be around.
Appreciate it.
And I've seen, bro, like, you got mad discipline, bro. Let's talk about your 5 a.m. workouts. This
5?
guy, yo, like, and you have like a little crew and everything now?
Yeah, well, not no more, but I was when I was coaching in Connecticut after our season ended, I kind of wanted to keep my guys in check and have them still work out because the journey's not over, season's over, but you guys are transitioning, trying to go into college, play at the next level, and that requires a lot of discipline. Why start at 12 o'clock or after class at 3 when you could probably only get 2 workouts, maybe. When you could start before class even starts, you get 3 in. Now you do that for a week, for a month, for a year. Now you're miles, and Kobe talks about it all the time, how far you can go. So I try to keep my guys disciplined with that. And we were partnered with a school, Putnam Science Academy, and it kind of started with like the girls basketball team wanting to join me. So it started with like 2 or 3 of them. They were like, hey, look, we want to lock in on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Wow.
We're with you. So once I started doing that with them and, other kids see it, they want to be a part of it. It's a social media era. Everybody wants some type of recognition. So I think that's what kind of started the fire for some of them.
Okay.
And, it just picked up. And then next thing you know, I have too many kids and I'm not making 2-3 trips to go get them and bring them back. So I had to break it up.
Those little things, though, separate the good from the ones that want to strive and exceed expectations, right? I was just watching The Last Dance right before like all this happened, and I'm downstairs, and they was talking about how MJ, when he transitioned right back to basketball, he took his little break from to play baseball. He went back to basketball, and they lost in the playoffs. And they said the first thing he did the next day, he started training, right? And a lot of people think that just going to practice, if your school, let's say you play for a school, you guys have practice every so often. Why aren't you putting in extra reps? What's going to make you separate from the next person? And that's the discipline, bro, right? That's the discipline that you're leading by example, right? And I've also seen that in that discipline, like not too long ago, you said, right? No, it's been a couple years, but you said you're vegan.
Yeah.
Right? You want to share with us a little bit about that? Like, it's because now it's like, okay, you got the discipline to work out on your body, but now you're also disciplined on what you put in your body. And that's the hardest part for most of us.
For sure.
I could raise my hand on that one. So
I would say, I mean, I've always been quick to let things go. So as a kid, so the only thing I haven't been able to let go is the basketball. But I loved soda growing up. One day I told myself, I'm gonna stop, and I cold turkey stopped. Candy, I loved candy. Cold turkey stopped. And then with this whole vegan thing, it was I was in college, and shout out to my assistant coach Jordan Roberson. He used to always talk to us about the negatives of consuming dairy and meat, and he had so much knowledge behind it. I cannot verbatim tell you what it was, but he has so much. Like, I'm telling you, this is the type of guy that will wash his fruit with, like, not water, just like, I don't even know what it was, but
it's like baking soda. Some people
something
use.
like that. Like, he was just washing his fruit a certain way, and he would always tell me, like, yo, Rube, you gotta put that down. You gotta leave that alone. And I used to tell him, like, thank you, I appreciate you, because I know you know your stuff. But I'm gonna go to this cafe and I'm gonna eat 2 cheeseburgers and fries, and I'm gonna feel guilty about it, but I'm gonna eat it. So, I took a trip to DR. I think like a year later, 2 years later, and when I came back, I got diagnosed with a condition, and basically associated with a lot of like red meats, and at that point, they told me, like, the doctor told me, like, you don't have to be a food Nazi or anything, like, but you do have to, slow down on certain foods. And I was just like, you know what? If I already knew that this was going to take me here, let me just cut it off completely. Like, if it's damaging me, why am I going to keep, like, slow rolling it? No, I'm going to just cut it off. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't go straight into being vegan. I went vegetarian first. And then one day, again, my hardest thing to let go was cheese. One day I'm eating, and I kept telling myself, my mindset was always, I'm going to let this go one day. One day. I never said I can't do it. I said, I'm going to let it go one day. And one day I was eating cheese, and I was like, right before I was going to invite it, I was like, what if I make one day today? And I just put it down, and I never looked back.
That's the difference between like a vegetarian and a vegan?
Yeah, no dairy. So milk, cheese,
No
anything.
eggs?
No eggs. Cut that off too. Yeah.
What would you say is like your diet on a daily, like
My
what does your breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like on a regular day?
So with
Out of curiosity,
yeah.
this is away from the segment.
I mean, with being vegan, I started incorporating other things like fasting, and so breakfast is a break fast. So when do you break your fast? I don't eat breakfast.
Okay.
So I'm gonna eat maybe depending, after 12. Anything after 12 is valid. But I'll probably start at like 2:30, because I'll go to the gym in the morning, lift, and then I'll get in there and play basketball till about 1:32. So I'm not eating breakfast, but my go-to meals are definitely gonna be avocado with everything. We do avocado everything. Plantains, I'll still do it. Even though it's fried, that's probably not that good for you, but I'll still do it. Rice, quinoa, black beans, any type of peppers, any type of vegetable. Fruits and vegetables is all valid for me.
Yeah, that's fire, bro.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel that this lifestyle, right? How's this lifestyle impacted not just your performance, but your mental clarity or your spiritual awareness?
It's definitely impacted me dramatically. Like, before I was always like bloated. You get tired, you get lethargic. Obviously, with changing my diet, I also incorporated something. You said what?
Lethargic is a deep word, bro.
I started incorporating sea moss in my diet, and that took me all the way up. Like, energy level was crazy, focus level was insane. And then it was weird because I was still able to put on weight, like put on muscle mass, while I wasn't eating at all. I was just eating maybe one meal a day and some sea moss. And shout out to my coach in Texas, Coach Mathis. He used to make this veggie protein shake. It was cachava. Off of that, I was gaining, I think I went up to like 178, which was my max. I'm usually right around 166 to 170.
Okay.
But I blew up, and I wasn't eating like that.
Yeah. I've seen that you've been posting like Anthony Phillip Mitchell.
For sure.
Philip Anthony Mitchell, pardon me,
Mm-hmm.
from 2819. Everybody, you should check that out on YouTube if you get a chance. Or if
Powerful.
you're in the Atlanta area, that's where that church is. And I follow him, bro. I'm really
too.
big on
I'm a part of the church.
Online. Talk about it. He said to my virtual disciples.
Yeah, I'm a virtual disciple. That's facts.
And the video's out today. I usually watch it on Mondays, but the Sunday service is out.
I was on that live this morning, 8 a.m.
Do you know that when you fast, right, and you starve the body, your spirit becomes more sensitive?
For sure.
And I'm interested to know if, like, once you transitioned into your diet, right, of you stopped eating meats, now you're a vegan. No, you're vegan, excuse me, right?
Yeah.
Pardon me, guys. I'm learning. And then also, you incorporate fast. Jesus says, when you fast, right? So when Jesus says that to his disciples, when you fast, he expects us to fast.
For sure.
Right? And like I said, that makes our spirit more sensitive. It heightens our awareness. Was it in that transition that, like, you became more sensitive to, like, the things of God? Or
I'm gonna be honest, like that for sure, definitely. But also, like, there's someone, very important to me that kind of pushed me towards God as well. She started speaking to me about God and like her personal journey. And it kind of, like, I told her what I used to always tell everybody. That was this was my go-to, was like, my relationship with God is personal. So,
but that's a fact.
And it is true.
That's a fact.
It is true. But that's like an easy cop-out, I feel like. Yeah. And I was copping out. I was not holding myself accountable. I was not being obedient in that regard. So I was like, okay, I have someone in my life that's telling me, hey, that's cool, but you still need to do this, do that, do that. And I'm like, all right. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, all right, for everything else, I've been disciplined in my diet. I've been disciplined in my workouts. I've been disciplined in a lot of other areas. Well, it's time to tighten up with God for sure, because, without God, it's not possible. And I've been involved in churches before, and I've been, like, faithful before, and, why not now? Why not now? I'm grown. And it's time to lock in. We're running out of time, I feel like, and that's been big, that,
That's the message that they talk about in 2019, but I also think that's a message that's, like, relevant over the world right now, bro. There's, like, a spark. The world is showing end time signs.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are like, oh, like, sometimes you hear these Christians and they're extremists and they're this and they're that. Like, I don't think that's, like, we're watching reality and we're calling a spade a spade. Like, tighten up. You get what I'm saying? So recently, have you had any moments of, like, surrender? Any moments of revelation? Like, do you feel like God is trying to tell you something specific right now at this moment of your life?
I'm trying to listen. That's what I'm trying to do,
Okay.
I'm really trying to figure out what's God's voice and what's not, But I do think that right now, whatever's happening is designed for me to focus and lock in with God. Like, I can't say if this is what God wants. I know certain relationships, certain friendships have ended. Maybe things are at a pause with certain people, but I'm not focused on anything else but God right now. And it's so crazy how, like, when you are trying to lock in with God, that's when all the distractions come. Like, I feel like when you're doing bad and you're not supposed to be, doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing, everything's fine. Everything feels like you're winning. But it's when you try to tighten up, it's like the world comes crashing down. And I'm big on mentality. Like, I don't ever like to see myself as a victim, So no matter how dark the days get for me, I try to, like, control what I'm telling myself, because, death is in the tongue, right? Like, like the scriptures say, like, and power in the tongue. So I try to be mindful of that and what I'm feeding my mind. Because we've all been through dark times, and, if we allow ourselves to be consumed by it, we're gonna crash out and stuff. And it's like, God's always showed us every step of the way that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So,
Amen.
you know,
Amen. I mean, bro, I've changed my life drastically since I came home from prison. And it's so funny because even when I came home from prison, like, I came outside. You get what I'm saying? And things happening, and it just like narrowed down to like, what am I really doing? What am I leaving behind? Right? And I'm gonna use that to transition to the next thing. So, what legacy do you want to leave behind? Right? You've accomplished things that a lot of people don't even get to accomplish. You feel me? Like, I'm a LA Fitness baller.
yeah.
Like, just to be like in your shoes, like would have been like cool, just to be able to play internationally. And then like other people might look at you also and be like, dang, like now he's coaching. You feel me? He has that discipline to go to the gym every day. He's working on his body. Really working on the temple. Remember I told you that as a
Yeah.
episode idea? Cause who are we really? But that spirit that's inside, right? But this temple is the shell that our spirit dwells in. And now we have a purpose while we're out here. What legacy does Ruben leave behind? What is your focus on that? Have you given that thought?
I mean, not too much. I just want, like you said, like I'm someone that always gives everyone their flowers. Like, and this is such a generation where, like, if you start harping on too much, like, you start, praising people too much, they look at it like, oh, yo, like he ride and he ride, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't ever look at it like that. Like, any chance I get to uplift someone, I want that to be like, all right, Ruben always did that. Like, he wasn't a hater. Even if I disliked you and you were good or you did something good, I'm gonna give you your flowers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like the love make the world go round.
Absolutely.
There's no point to be hateful. There's no point to like withhold how you feel about someone. Like if they doing good, praise them. You know what I mean? You might have just saved their day. You don't even know what they were going through.
Yeah.
They might have been thinking about killing themselves earlier in the day, and you just lifted them up to
That's
a point
deep.
that it's like, okay, like there's some life here.
That's deep, bro.
So
I appreciate your optimism and like your point of view on life. So what do you have to say to young athletes? What do you have to say to people that are struggling to find their purpose right now?
I'm gonna say, like, don't take whatever your coaches are saying to you personal. I'm gonna definitely say that. Like, whatever you're going through, whatever hardship you're going through, that's God allowing it to test you. You're gonna be battle tested, and it's for your elevation at the end of the day. You need to navigate that, figure it out, and don't run away from what's hard. Don't run towards instant gratification, because instant gratification is not going to get you to the place that you want to be ultimately. You know what I mean? If you're working hard and you're killing yourself, even if you don't get to the result that you wanted to get to, at least you'll have the discipline, the consistency, the commitment level to apply it towards whatever's next in your life. You know what I mean? We always want our plans to work, and God starts shifting us and showing us that, you may like this, but I have this for you, and you don't know that yet. So just keep pushing, keep working hard, stay committed, consistent, and disciplined.
Okay. My boy, I want to talk about the entrepreneur side of you, right? So I see you have like your recovery business.
Yeah.
Where you run around with I put those things on one time. It's pretty fire. I ain't gonna lie.
It is.
And then also, I believe now you're a certified trainer, right?
For sure.
And bro, not for nothing, I could see you like, you can be like an athletic trainer traveling around with teams or something, bro. Not for nothing. I don't know if that's a goal.
It's possible.
That's what thinking. I just got inside me right now. Well. Maybe that's the Holy Spirit talking. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
What led you to that?
It's a lot. And I always want to give my flowers to CYM, Creating Young Minds. They do a lot of good work in Texas, in the Dallas area. they've awakened something in me, and showed me how much of a leader I can be. And also, like, they're big on starting your own business. Like, they're a nonprofit organization. Like, they're big on that. They preach that to all the people in the program. Start your own business. Don't work for somebody else. You have a gift. And I feel like it all ties in with them because, like, in college, a lot of people don't know, but, like, I dealt with a lot of injuries in college. My back was always messed up. I didn't take care of myself stretching wise. I was a dog. I was going to kill myself on the court, but I wouldn't stretch, and, in high school I had knee pain, college, back pain. It was just, and it was hindering my, I went from an all conference player my freshman year to just a solid point guard my sophomore year that was in the trainer's office half the season. When I transferred, I was always in the trainer's office. I was never fully healthy until after I got out of college. So when I was out in Texas and I was working out with that team, that they were a part of the TBL, the Louisville Leopards, which transitioned into the CYM program. They would do training from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So it's lift weights for like 2 hours, get on the court for a few hours, and then to end it, you're back in the weight room. Half of the time you're in the sauna working out, lifting. Coach is forgetting that you're lifting. But one thing he stressed was always recovery. So he used to pay for us to go to a cryotherapy spot. And they would do cryo. You would do Normatec compression, legs, hips. There was a massage bed. There was spot therapy, cryo.
Okay.
There was everything. Alkaline water. So that's how I got big into alkaline water with them.
I learned that from Dr. Sebi.
For sure, that too. But I don't know. Like, I never took recovery serious until I was with them, and I didn't even take it serious with them till like a month in or something. Like, I wasn't going to recovery session. I was like, nah, I gotta go to work after this. Let me go to work.
Yeah.
But one day I went to the recovery session, and it normally takes me like 2 to 3 days to recover. I was moving real graceful. Like, I was trying to roll out. Like, I had the little lacrosse ball. Okay. And I was trying to roll out. And I'm like, why am I so loose right now? And I remembered it was because of the recovery thing I did. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. So, I don't know. I just always was doing it. People would ask me all the time. And then I was like, you know what? I think I want to make this a thing. I want to make this like my own thing, where I would travel and, I'm always in basketball runs. I'm always in something. So I'm like, why not? So when I went up to work at the school, the prep school, there was a lot of athletes on campus. You got 3 boys basketball teams, 2 girls basketball teams, a football team, soccer team, baseball team. So I'm like, they would ask me about that. Like, what's that? What's that? And I'm like, at first I wasn't trying to push it too much. But word of mouth kept getting out, and I was like, you know what? Let me put it on. Shout out to Putnam Science Academy.
Fire, yeah. Yeah, and how about the trainer part? The
trainer part. So that also shout out to CYM again because, like, so coach, he really treated me like I was in the military. Like, he broke me down.
Sergeant.
Broke me down. Like, as a basketball player, they always talk about you got to be a bucket. You got to go get a bucket. You got to go get a bucket. So when I was out there, my mindset was I'm a scorer. Like, I'm going to go score. So I think I came into the league averaging like 27. But he was like, I don't want you to score. I want you. And I wasn't on his main team. I was like on a different one. He had like a little like league going on. And he would always tell me, like, I need you to be a pure point guard. Find your teammates.
Facilitate. Create shots.
Yeah. And it makes everyone happy. So, play defense, 94 feet, get everybody involved. So, but as I started honing in and listening to the advice that he was giving me and, he was slowly molding me to be the leader for his team. And I had no idea at first, But yeah, like, he would start making me lead the groups and like to lift. It would be me and it would be my big man, Austin, which shout out to him. He was the face of the program, if you ask me. Like, He was the guy, like looked like a Navy SEAL, 6'8", 2 something, just all muscle. I remember day one, he had us doing 100 pull-ups, and he told me not to work out with him. He said, go over there. He was like, go work out with them. And I was like, nah, I'm working out with you guys. I heard you guys are the ones that work hard. He's like, all right. So we did 100 pull-ups, and, you know, I stuck with him. I stayed by him. And then after that, it gave me that light to kind of start leading groups. And coach would put that role on me. And I'm like, if I'm helping all these guys with all this stuff, because I'm looking up workouts for them, I'm trying to correct form, you know, and I don't really have that knowledge. Like, I didn't take my certification prior to that. But I had a decent understanding. So I would just try to help guys as much as I could in the process of helping myself as well.
Yeah.
So then I was just like, you know what? Like, I do want to get certified. So in the process of me coming down to coach, when I wasn't coaching, when I wasn't working out, I was on that computer trying to get my certification. You know, and I had previously worked with 24-Hour Fitness anyway in sales. And I know with them, I was getting like an 80% discount. So I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this. Like, you know, it's an expensive, you know, certification.
And now you certified, bro. Got your recovery thing going.
For sure.
And that's what's up, man, is we have to be examples to nowadays, right? To the people growing up. How, what you said, CYM?
CYM, Creating Young Minds.
How CYM showed you, like, nah, you have to be a leader, right? And then transition into creating other leaders. So I commend you for all that, bro. Now, what do you want to leave the people with? What do you want to leave the minds with? The young minds, the people that are watching right now.
I mean, above all else, just be mentally strong. Times are going to get tough. There's going to be moments of adversity, right? But what you put in is what you'll get out. So believe in God, have trust and faith in God. That's a commandment as well, I believe. Like, you have to believe. So doubt, anxiety, all those things are lies from the devil. Just stay focused, stay the course. And be a good person above all else, you know? And always accept criticism, constructive criticism, and allow the people around you to help you elevate. Save someone and allow someone to save you.
Amen. I want to leave you guys with follow, subscribe, GPH on all platforms. And Ruben, you tell them where they could find you and your businesses and all that.
You could follow me at on Instagram, Rico R.I.C.O_11. Recovery spot. So Rico Very spot _PSA. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And guys, I want to thank Ruben first for coming on here, bro. It took a little while, but he made it. And he's a busy person, bro. It's just, it is what it is. You just came from training over there in Rutgers, right? You about to play in that league.
Yeah, I was training in New York in like downtown, Chelsea,
right?
Chelsea Piers.
He about to go train somebody. You feel me? So guys, please lock in with him. And stay tuned. GPH out. Thank you, my boy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
That was perfect. Look, 33 minutes. J. Andy, what are you doing? You gotta turn off. You gotta turn off the recording.